conversation with Jani Greeff, who is a founder of the Secular Society of South Africa. Good evening, Yanni.
Hi, good evening.
And how are you?
I am fine, thanks, and you?
Very well, thank you. Now tell us, what is the South African Secular Society?
Okay, we are a group that started about a year ago. I basically started the group by posting an event on Meetup. I'm not sure if everybody's familiar with it's like a community building tool that you can find on the internet called Meetup. It's also an app. You basically say, hi, I'm here, I'm interested in this, who wants to join me? And I just basically did that and said, hi, I'm here, I'm an atheist. Do you want to chat about religion? Do you want to chat about atheism? We're going to meet in the lake, in the park. So that's what I did. That's how it started. And 15 people showed at the first meeting. We had a great discussion. And that's basically what we've been doing ever since. We have monthly meetups now where we also do fun stuff together. Like next month we'll be going to the Stadfontein Cave. We'll have a tour through there. We have a lot of social meetups. We have discussion meetups where we take topics and chat about religion, non-belief, atheism, secularism, humanism. So that's what we do.
So, I mean, what is the common interest in, so when people join, what do they come to the society looking for?
They are looking basically for like-minded people. There are some horror stories, obviously, about people coming out of religion. They can, for example, have lost their family no longer talks to them, or they lost their entire social structure in many cases. I mean, for some people, your church is your community, your church is your life, your family is everything to you. So once you realize that you no longer believe in these ideas, it can be a very difficult thing. And when that happened to me about 5 or 6 years ago, I secretly went for counseling, and I didn't tell my parents for 3 years. So I've been through that experience, and I feel I can really help other people who are going through the same thing or have gone through that and never talked about it. That's the kind of discussions we like to have.
So do you feel that these are disillusioned individuals who've come for this type of release from these societal boundaries you speak of?
Yeah, it's that, and also just people who are in it for the fun of it. We just like to be around like-minded people and talk about science and what's new and what's about skepticism and, you know, anything that comes up. You can talk about, like I said, it's social a lot of the time, so you can just enjoy being around like-minded people.
So when you guys meet, what are some of the things that are your concerns? I know, for instance, education is a concern. Why is education a concern?
And education is a concern for us because obviously a large percentage of the population of South Africa are religious. So we are a minority group, and we definitely think that, you know, being indoctrinated as a child, that's it's not always good. And you know, when you go to school, most of the time, if you're a kid just going to school, sometimes you are ostracized if you are not, praying in school, or if there's some other religious activity going on, you may feel left out or too afraid to. You know, you're just a child, so you may not be strong enough to say, hey, I don't feel comfortable with it. I would not like to take part in this. And, you know, there are some science teachers even who are creationists, for example, who don't believe in evolution or the Big Bang. And I'm not sure what goes on in classrooms, but it's something that concerns me.
Okay, well, we're reading some of the background on the secularist movement. It says secularists oppose religion or the religious being afforded privileges, which put another way means others are disadvantaged. So
Yes.
besides, what kind of opposition do you guys have? Do you just oppose it verbally, or do you actually have any initiatives that you have in countering the disadvantage that some of the people that you encounter or talk about meet?
So our group is still small and quite new. So we haven't actively started taking on these things in the public space. We're mostly just there. We don't recruit anybody to come. We're just there if you're looking for something. I think an organization like the Oorgod organization, they are doing something. We would like to support that and obviously maybe do something like that in future once our organization is more established. But yeah, for now, we're just there for people.
All right.
And so the assistance you're providing, does it come, who provides it? So when you say you're there for people, is it psychologists,
we're
psychiatrists?
there for each other. We're there for each other. So it's just people talking to each other. We don't have anybody who's formally counseling anybody else. We're just having open discussion.
Okay. And so at the moment, what is the next step? You're saying it's quite small, but what is the next step for the society? I mean, what would you like to see yourselves doing?
Oh, I have so many ideas. I'd like to visit universities, for example, and have an Ask an Atheist Day. We'll have a stand there and people can come and ask us, hey, what is an atheist? What do you guys believe? What do you not believe? What is your organization? Because with atheism and non-belief, it's the case that it's still very, people tend to think maybe you're a Satanist or you're such a bad person. So many bad connotations that are unnecessary. And in actual fact, we're just normal people who can't believe certain ideas about God anymore. It just doesn't make sense to us anymore. We aren't druggies or alcoholics. So, yeah, I was basically mentioning those things because I have been called those things just for saying I don't believe.
Yeah.
So that's what happens. And we would just like to normalize it and just say, hey, if you don't feel comfortable with this, come and chat to us. So I'd like to do that, go to universities, go to schools. I would go to a church and say, if you would allow me to, I will be there to answer questions, whatever. We can do that. And then another thing that we really would like to get involved in is doing volunteer work. So we would love to have a group that goes to, for example, orphanages to help out, doing a soup kitchen, doing anything we can to help in the community, just so that people see, we are normal people, we are good people. We just believe differently.
Yeah. Speaking to Jani Greeff, who's the co-founder of the Secular Society of South Africa. I see we have a call from Nunda from Centurion coming through on 011-883-0702. Good evening, Nunda.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
And
I'm really proud to say that I'm an atheist, and I'd like to say that thank God I'm an atheist.
Thank God I'm an atheist.
The reason I'm saying that is that I find religion very restrictive. I find it intolerant, and it's cause of many problems in this country and in the world. One of the biggest problems we speak about is our education system and the role religion plays in our education system. Just you talk to people that have degrees and qualifications, and you talk to them about evolution. And these people totally disregard evolution. Okay. And it's all because of the influence of religion, and there's proof. And one of the proofs is that we have something called Marupeng. And if we go to Marupeng, we'll see that evolution is a reality. It's not something that's concocted, that the Earth is actually 4.5 billion years old.
Yes.
It's not 6,000 years old. So I'd just like to reaffirm my position that I think atheism is a growing movement in this country, and as people realize that atheists we have sound principles. Quite often I'm asked, if you don't believe in the Bible or the Quran or whatever it is, where do you get your principles?
Yes.
I'm a human being. Human beings know what is right and wrong. I don't need a book to tell me that to steal is a wrong thing. It comes inherently from a human being, being a human being. But thank you. That's my take on the discussion so far.
Thank you very much, Nunda and Centurion. Yanni, what are some of the misconceptions you guys find around, when people come to you, when people interact with you around secularism or humanism and atheism? I mean, the caller just said, people think you don't believe in anything, so where do you get your principles or where do you get your values?
Yeah.
What are some of the misconceptions of atheism and secularism?
I think one of the huge misconceptions is people tend to think we have no morals or standards. That's something that I find a lot of times, that they just think you don't believe in God, so you don't believe in anything. That's not the case. I believe in being a good human, loving my spouse, raising my children well, being generous. I believe in all good things. And a lot of the atheists that I know and non-believers that I know are the same.
I think, do you think maybe there's a fear element to it, and exactly maybe it would be a good idea if you guys could articulate exactly what you'd like to teach the kids that you would like to approach, or anyone, in terms of the speeches that you were talking about as well?
Yeah, there is definitely a fear element. Like I said, it's not necessarily that people are... The thing is, people think that maybe you're scared that when you lose your religion, aren't you scared you're going to hell? That's not even the case. What you're scared of is losing your community, losing
your friends, your family.
Yes, people judging you. Those are the things that you're afraid of, because you don't believe in heaven, so you're not afraid of not going to heaven. It's like that. And I mean, if I was to, just have a chat with some children, I would just first of all tell them, you don't have to believe this, because that was something that never popped into my head when I was a kid, believing I was a Christian. I was a Christian school. My dad is a minister. My mom was a Christian school teacher, still is. So that's not a thought that popped into my head. You have the option not to believe. You don't have to believe this.
Yes.
I would just tell them that. And if you do believe differently, or you don't believe at all, then that's fine.
We have another call from Tebogo in Buccleuch. Good evening, Tebogo.
Hi. My lady, I love you to bits.
Is this for Yanni?
Have no fear. I'm a Christian, and I'm talking. I want to categorically put it out there. I am a 100% Christian, and I can understand where you're coming from, because of unfortunately, yes. Unfortunately, there's so many people who come out in the name of Christianity. You know, the recent cases of some pastor in Pretoria making people eat rats and snakes and stuff. That's scary stuff. I mean, and thank God, because of, when you read the Bible, he always says, fear not, because of he knew that fear would come into people's hearts. But listen to your heart, but God loves you. That's what I want to say.
Thank you, and you're welcome to come to one of our meetings as well. We've had Christians at our meetings.
I'd love to come and tell you about the love of God. And I'm sure we will.
You're welcome to come.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for the call, Tebogo in Buccleuch.
Okay, bye.
So, Yanni, if I were a believer in any organized religion or had a form of spirituality, I'd still be able to come to the meetings and sit in and...
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I said, free discussion. We're not about judging. We don't, for example, just go in religion. We just have discussions.
Yeah. Okay. We have another caller coming in from Ryan in North Riding. Good evening, Ryan.
Good evening, yes. I just joined the discussion a few minutes ago. And I know that you said that you face opposition from creationists and things like that. And sometimes I find that the picture that atheists paint is that religious people who reject evolution and go for creationism, they basically just do it from a theological perspective. And that it's this unreasoning devotion to scripture and a willing ignorance to scientific evidence. But the truth of the matter is there's many, many scientists who are creationists who reject evolution because they don't see it as scientifically plausible. There's an organization coming out of Australia called Creation Ministries International. It's run by a lot of scientists who are ex-atheists who then began to realize that it's actually evolution which isn't scientifically plausible, and there must be an alternative scientific theory for how everything came to be. And that's the kind of thing that led them back to kind of religion was science. So the fact that it's science versus religion, that's not the case. It's actually science versus science, and these creationist scientists will tell you that it's good science versus bad science. And obviously, from their perspective, the bad science is this molecule-to-man evolution with unguided designer. So that's just my take on things. That there are very learned scientific creationists out there. It's not just kind of deluded people who sit in pews. Yeah.
All right. Thank you for the call, Ryan.
Cool. Pleasure.
Ryan.
Have a good evening. So, Yanni, if people are looking to get a hold of you, how do they go about doing that? Do you have a Facebook page, a website, a Twitter? If someone's looking to get in touch for more information, or if someone is someone who's part of organized religion and they're keen to just attend a meeting or, ask a few questions.